Ukraine.
I don't give a fuck.
Well, Grifter Zelensky comes to town with both hands out saying, "Can I have some more?" Here comes Joe and Pelosi says, "Sure, let me get out my checkbook."
It's definitely a no for me, dog.
All the while, the war rages on.
What?
And America continues to get fucked.
He ain't lying.
I'm Jasper Gonzo, and this is What's Next. Good Thursday, everyone. Jasper Gonzo here. Another episode of What's Next, your daily dose. Hope you guys are doing well on this day. Well, wasn't last night fun? The situation in Ukraine, of course, we don't know. You know, the whole proxy war with Russia and what have you. You know, democracy and so forth. Well, one Vladimir Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, you know, of course, running around in his fatigues and taking pictures and, you know, modeling and what have you. And he made his way to Washington, D.C. He had time to step away from the war to come to D.C. to put his hand out once again after almost $100 billion given to him. He comes and says, "Can I have some more?" Well, Dementia Joe and Pelosi had no problem opening up their checkbooks and saying, "How much are we talking?" The fucking clownery. Let's take a look. This comes out of Breitbart. Zelensky, $45 billion support in bill is not enough. No, because it never is. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky is scheduled to speak at Congress, of course, which he did last night. And Joe Dementia on Wednesday claimed that the $45 billion of aid designated to Ukraine in the $1.7 trillion spending bill that was signed off by Turkey-neck McConnell is just not enough. Congress is weighing on whether to pass the massive $1.7 trillion omnibus bill that designates $45 billion in military and economic aid for Ukraine. The $45 billion in addition to the $66 billion lawmakers already approved of taxpayer money so far. On Tuesday, Zelensky released a video revealing that he will tell Biden and Congress $45 billion is still not enough, because it's not. We are not in an easy situation. The enemy is increasing its army. The people are braver and need more powerful weapons, he said about the Ukrainian war. We will pass it on to the boys in Congress, To the President of the United States, Joe Dementia, we are grateful for their support, but it's just not enough. I need more. Zelensky claimed that $45 billion is not enough aid on top of the ready $66 billion they already got, and approved a military budget of $858 billion, $45 billion more than Biden had requested from taxpayers. Critics of Ukraine say that much of the funds have ended up in the hands of American defense contractors. Fact. Others have demanded the previous sums of money be approved by Congress should be audited before aid is given. Yeah, what a concept. Still, others are concerned that the sheer amount of money spent defending Ukraine borders is way too much. The overwhelming feeling in America, the overwhelming polling in America is saying, yeah, you know what? Yeah, we need to cut the faucets off. American taxpayers have given more aid to Ukraine than sent in 2020 to Afghanistan, Israel, and Egypt combined. In just a few short months of the war, the amount of U.S. aid to Ukraine has surpassed 3 of the largest recipients of U.S. military aid in history. The New York Times reported Sunday that the military spending next year is on track to reach its highest level in inflation-adjusted terms since the peak of the cost of the Iraq and Afghanistan wars between 2008 and 2011. And the second highest in inflation-adjusted terms since World War II, a level that is more than the budgets for the next 10 largest cabinet agencies combined. Wow. Now, if that wasn't enough, here comes Pelosi. Compares Zelensky addressing Congress to Churchill asking America to join World War II. Outgoing House Speaker Nancy Bela Lugosi Pelosi Hag compared the Ukrainian President Zelensky's address to Congress to when former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom Winston Churchill's 1941 address asked the United States to step into the war with Europe. I'll make this quick. Pelosi said in a letter to lawmakers that she had a great pride and solidarity to welcome Zelensky on Wednesday in Congress, where he will address both chambers, and of course he already did. The outgoing speaker leaving a personal note comparing Zelensky to Churchill, Senate chambers when he spoke before the informal meeting in Congress the day after Christmas in 1941. I encourage you to read my letter of invitation to Zelensky. As the fight of freedom in Ukraine goes on, we look forward to hearing his inspiring messages of courage, unity, and determination. On a personal note, this is a moment of fraught with meaning for me. My father, Congressman Thomas D'Alessandro, was a member of the House in 1941 when Winston Churchill came to Congress on the day after Christmas to enlist our nation's support in the fight against the tyranny in Europe. 81 years later, this week, is particularly important for me to present when another heroic leader, faux pas, addresses the Congress at a time of war and with democracy itself is on the line. I hope you will be there in part of a very special evening, which will be etched into history as well as part of your legacy. Bullshit, 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 and I'm sorry if you didn't hear me the first 3 times, bullshit. The constant hands out by Zelensky, over $100 billion of taxpayers' money, and as you hear me read, more than Afghanistan, Israel combined between 2008 and 2011. Wow. It wasn't bad enough that Joe Dementia pulled us out of Afghanistan in the worst removal in the history of practically any nation, leaving $85 billion worth of equipment behind, for the towel heads and the Taliban. But Zelensky, it's not enough. It's never going to be enough. When you are a grifter like Zelensky, it's never going to be enough. He's always got to have his hands out like a pimp to a whore, telling America, make sure you leave the money on the dresser. Because bitch better have my money. I'm Jazz Berganzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more just like this? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share it, subscribe to it. And we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.